Welcome back to the Bearded Console Gamer, and today I'm going to be taking you through the latest news surrounding release dates for Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok, as told to us by head of PlayStation Studios Herman Hulst. I'll be taking you through all of that and some other delicious information morsels that came out in an interview between the Herminator and the PlayStation blog team, including how Sony intends to approach PS4 support moving forwards game-wise. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe, because without the nourishing light of your affection, I will most surely wither away and die. So before we get on to the big ticket items, let's take a quick look at PlayStation's game development strategy moving forward, according to Herman. Starting with the fact that there are apparently 25 games currently in development by in-house PlayStation studios, half of which are entirely new IPs and half of which are set in universes that we already know and love. While talking about new IPs, Herman specifically name-dropped Bend Studio, the makers of excellent horror survival zombie smashing game Days Gone, stating that Bend Studio is working on an exciting new IP that they're very, very passionate about. They're building on the deep open world systems that they developed for Days Gone, so I'm really happy for Bend Studio. And if you have the ability to read between the lines, you can actually hear Herman say, "Listen, guys, we said Days Gone isn't happening, so please stop shouting at us." Bend Studio also put out this tweet which reads, "We are beyond grateful for your support with Days Gone and are truly honoured by the amount of passion our community has shared with us for our world and our characters. Your enthusiasm motivates us to continue to improve and create experiences that will last a lifetime. From the Siphon Filter series to Resistance Retribution to Uncharted Gold Abyss and Days Gone, we are very excited to announce today that we are expanding the Bend Studio portfolio with a brand new IP. By which they mean, if you listen carefully and read between the lines, listen, guys, they said Days Gone isn't happening, so please stop shouting at us." Furthermore, according to Herman, single-player-led narrative games aren't going anywhere, but Sony are also going to be pursuing basically every other type of game under the sun. This includes smaller indie titles and multiplayer experiences, and on top of that, we already know that Sony is planning on pushing the most popular PlayStation franchises onto the mobile and PC platforms. If I had to summarize PlayStation's targeted development approach in a single word, I would simply say yes. Now let's move on to the bigger news, and I'm going to handle this as tactfully as I possibly can. God of War Ragnarok isn't coming out this year no matter how much you want it to, and I spoke to Kratos and he said he hates you personally. He said he can't stand being around you and that you give off a weird vibe. So, yeah, ouch. Seriously though, this is big news and I'm a freaking professional, so here it is. During his interview with the PS blog team, Herman Hulst reveals that the God of War Ragnarok release date has been pushed back to 2022, citing COVID disruptions as a major issue. And honestly, this is in no way surprising to me. The only thing that's surprising about this entire situation is that there are actually people out there who genuinely believe that game was going to come out in 2021. I mean, I know it said 2021 at the end of that teaser, but that's literally all that we've seen. And beyond that, it's not like they were working under optimal working conditions in the first place. Santa Monica was desperately trying to make a high-quality video game at the exact time that the world decided that it was going to try and buck us off its back. I mean, have you looked outside recently? I'm expecting literal fire to start raining from the heavens at any moment. Make no mistake, people, we are in the end days. And there is absolutely some poetry in the fact that disruptions from our very real-world apocalypse that's taking place right now has staved off the digital coming of Ragnarok. During the interview, Herman Hulst explained that while Sony had pulled a lot of clever moves to keep production moving, certain elements like motion capture sequences just couldn't be done remotely, and that in order to keep their developers and actors safe, and to produce a game of the highest possible quality, things would have to be done at a slower pace. Which obviously is the correct call, and as a side note, it was also a right call to put out this blog post in order to manage expectations heading into the E3 season. I mean, the release date for God of War was on everyone's lips. It was sucking all of the oxygen out of the room. And hopefully now that we've actually had this announcement, fans are going to be able to actually focus on the myriad other games that Sony's set to showcase in the coming weeks. But moving on, the 2022 release date announcement wasn't the only piece of Ragnarok news to be dropped by Hulst during the interview. He also confirmed that the title would be launching both on the PlayStation 5 and the older PlayStation 4. Now, obviously, that's music to the ears of anyone who's still playing on a PS4, either because they haven't managed to get their hands on a PS5, or just because they haven't felt the need to go out and get one yet. On the other hand, that announcement's going to piss off a whole lot of PS5 havers who believe that developing games for both consoles is going to hamstring developers from making the most of the PS5's power and architecture. But regardless of your point of view, the fact is that PS5 only games just aren't the goal for Sony this year. And that's thanks in part to the semiconductor shortage that's preventing an even wider spread rollout of the next gen console, and also because there's just not that much financial sense in selling an expensive to develop title to a base of around 8 million PS5 users when there are some 110 million PS4 owners who desperately want to give you their money for the games. And that is especially the case considering that PlayStation does not need to incentivize people to buy its next-gen console right now. They're going out of sale milliseconds after they go up, whenever they do go up, and that's likely to continue to be the case until 2022 when stocks finally normalize. So in my opinion, 2023 is probably most likely to be the big transitional year where you get more PS5 only games and cross-generational PS4 titles become more of the oddity. But circling back to that interview, Herman also shed light on the release date for Horizon Forbidden West, stating that the game was currently on track to release in the holiday period of 2021, but that it wasn't a certain thing. And honestly, to me, that says that Horizon Forbidden West is coming in the first quarter of 2022. I mean, the world is still grappling with a deadly pandemic which has left entire industries near the brink of collapse. In this environment, if a publisher says that they have absolute certainty that their game is going to land in the holiday season this year, I'd still give you a 50-50 chance that it'll slip to early 2022. And Herman just used phrases like, "it's not quite certain," and "we think it's on track." So no, as much as it pains me, I don't think that we're getting Horizon Forbidden West this year. But again, Sony did the smart thing in this interview. They gave us a vague answer to a question that would have hung over their E3 season content. And by saying that they're gunning for 2021, even though it's more likely to be 2022, they're putting people in a good mindset for the news to come. And one thing that I am sure of is that when Horizon Forbidden West and Ragnarok do launch, they are going to be incredible. And that's because, in part, PlayStation is taking the time to do their games right, develop them properly, and hopefully release a finished and polished product. And on that note, I'm going to leave it for today. Let me know in the comments, do you think we're going to get Horizon Forbidden West this year, or are they just trying to let us down gently? As always, if you like the show, be sure to like and subscribe, and hit that notifications bell to keep it here for all the biggest news from around the video gaming industry.